Well, hell, I didn't realize it, but I thought I was talking to y'all, and I wasn't even broadcasting. So, we find ourselves in the cockpit. I'm wearing my head tracker, and it's a device that is worn on my head, and the other side is a camera, both infrared. And it has 6 degrees of freedom, meaning it has the Z and X and Y, and of course pitch, yaw, and I don't have roll in there because it's too disturbing. That's just the way it is. Just so you can see where the control is coming from. Where is it? Well, I'm not going to worry about it. Suffice it to say that it's working, isn't it? So, when you're in the cockpit with me, y'all, this is what you'll see. And if you're in a big cockpit, then we'll just have to look at the overhead of switches and such. But if y'all get a sim, there's one other package that would tie us together, and you could be my first officer. Or for that matter, we could switch, and I'd be your first officer as you fly. So you decide. And I showed my stable, so you can choose what you want to. Well, I'll just give you a real quick overview of what my stable looks like. I'm going to do it slowly, starting from the bottom. Very cool, fanciful vertical rotary craft with a front puller prop. This is an ultralight, and there's a Cessna, same plane we're flying, but with, as you can see, pontoons, so we can land on water. We have various military and refueling planes, B-52, bunch of rotary aircraft, not a bunch, but a good number of them. A wonderful soaring plane. Some fanciful overpowered planes, here called the pocket rocket, and even the space shuttle, and an X-15. So, and a Super Cub, and that's where you get your stick and rudder skills, and that's the way it's been ever since World War I, or very close to World War I. We have various aircraft from Moonies to foreign jet, prop jet aircraft. My own favorite, Cirrus SF50 prop jet. Not a prop jet, it's a full single engine jet. There it is right in the middle. And that's how I developed LilBlueDonuts, which I'll talk about in just a second. So, as you can see, my stable is pretty complete. So you get to fly any one of them. Some of these are so real that they are certified by the manufacturer. And by manufacturer, I don't mean the people that created the model. I mean actual manufacturers, like Boeing, like Beechcraft, like Bell, like Cirrus, like Cessna. So, anyway, I thought I was recording and I'd showed you all this. I just wanted to show you what the stable looked like, and we'll go back to the main menu and resume the flight. You're looking at LilBlueDonuts here. One of the donuts is the gear, and this is welded gear because that's the way it is. When you take a look at a Cessna, you notice it doesn't have retractable gear. That gear is welded onto the fuselage. So LilBlueDonuts is about angle of attack. It's got 17 metrics that it follows. And roll, pitch, yaw, angle of attack, vertical speed, frames per second, because this is a sim, which plane we're flying, and what the donut is. That is meaning the absolute perfect approach speed based upon angle of attack, which will keep you out of trouble. There's our current speed, and this points to north. Heading, G's, flight level. If we get below I think 2,500 feet, then it turns into AGL, or above ground level. Here's your wind speed and direction, and of course this is the version that we're working on now. Lastly, there's DMMS, and it's based upon Dan Grider's involvement with trying to make it safer for general aviation pilots. Loss of control has been a huge reason why pilots and GA pilots, general aviation pilots, have had such a dismal freaking record. And the reason that they're dying left and right is because they lose control. Dan came up with this number. There are speeds that are all part of the specifications of every airplane, and it's different for every airplane. There's V1, there's V2, there's takeoff, there is approach speeds. They're all V, meaning velocity. And there's VNE, that's a velocity never exceed, which on here is 170, 165. Anyway, bottom line is that there are 17 metrics here. We're making an approach, visual approach, and telling us to send to 5,000. Hopefully you can hear that. This is the actual protocol that ATC will use with any pilot, and the pilot must respond and read back. There's the speed. And anyway, DMMS for this aircraft determined minimum maneuvering speed is 1.404 times V1. V1 is just before stall. It's the bottom of the white area. That's right here, 40. And it's the way it is on every GA aircraft. I'm not going to explain what the rest of the colors mean, but we'll get into that when you get in the air with me. But the bottom line is that Dan determined if you go at least 67 knots, you'll be able to maneuver up to a 30-degree bank in perfect safety. Stay above this number in a Cessna, which is 67 knots. You can angle up, you can juke around, you can maneuver up to a 30-degree bank at or above that speed, and you'll be safe no matter what. But what happens with GA aircraft people is they don't pay a fucking attention, and that's why Dan Grider, look him and Flight Chops up. That's why Dan came up with this, and that's also why I came up with LilBlueDonuts. Angle of attack is all about making sure that you don't have loss of control, that there is wind over your control surfaces, over your wing, over your vertical stabilizer, over your horizontal stabilizer. And if, in fact, you are, let me move this so that you get a better view of what's going on. This is all about super high res OrbX, true Earth, Great Britain, north, central, and south. We're in the north. And we are we are over some hilly shit, and as you can see, these mountains aren't craggy like they are in the western United States. So that makes these very old. Should we call them hills? Well, we're at 5,000 feet, so, and that's pretty close to the top of this one, isn't it? So there's some pretty good hills, and there's also the locks, and we are flying northeast. So that's what Little Blue Donuts is about. That's what DMMS is all about. The FPS is very critical to a sim flyer because the faster the frame rate, the more immersive and real you see. There's no stuttering, it looks real, and if you're in VR, you almost cry with the realism. Uh, so anyway, there you go. And I look forward to getting you in the cockpit, whichever cockpit you choose, wherever in the world you choose. And so I've made up for the fact that I did all this before, and I thought I was recording, actually broadcasting, and I wasn't. So, hey, as Sam and I discussed earlier, if you ain't fucking up, you ain't doing nothing, right? So there you go. All right, I'm going to get off mic and let you enjoy the rest of the flight, and hopefully we'll get together sometime this weekend, and you can get in the cockpit with me. All right, bye.
heading 190, descend and maintain 2172 for Uniform Echo. Fly heading 280-172 for Uniform Echo.
1-2. Okay. The reason I got in the cockpit is because I've had this happen once before at ATC, putting me in the side of a mountain. So I was about to take over. So, track IR doesn't seem to be working. Where is it? Okay. Track IR, but I do not see myself in the glass in the camera. That's interesting. I don't know what's going on. Is track IR on? Apparently it is. But it's not saying anything. Title none, but it doesn't say it doesn't see a device. So, supposedly it's on. Maybe not. Hello. Okay, well, track IR is not working right now, and I can't tell why. So I'll let you get back to the flying, and I'll figure it out later. Okay. I thought we were going to crash. So anyway, talk to you later.
Fly heading 340-172 for Uniform Echo. Fly heading 010. Report the field in sight 172. 4 Uniform Echo. Center 172. 4 Uniform Echo.
172, 4, uniform, echo, cleared visual approach, runway, 1, contact tower on, 118.05.
Cleared visual approach, runway 1, contact tower on, 118.05, 172, 4, uniform, echo. Tower, 172, 4, uniform, echo.
Uniform, echo, runway, 1, you're cleared to land.
Runway 1, 172, 4, uniform, echo.
Let me make the land a little bit brighter for you. Is that helping? No, it's just getting darker. Although that's interesting.
Fly heading 010. Report the field in sight 172, 4, uniform, echo. Center 172, 4, uniform, echo. Cleared visual approach, runway
And that's where we are. So let me get you back to where we're supposed to be. So in other words, we have, what is that? We've got O-band, EGEO, and that's 2.3 miles away. Go ahead and make that direct. So you can see it's got an extended line from each of the runways. So this is 01. And it's pretty cool that you can zoom in like that on the real one. The real one is this size in a real aircraft. Maybe that's a little bit big. About that size. $17,000 device that'll keep your ass out of trouble and get you going where you want to. Okay, cleared to land.
172, 4, uniform echo.
Let's zoom in here. Let me make the land a little bit brighter for you. Is that helping? No, it's just getting darker. Although that's interesting. "13 feet AGL, when they hit 0, it's supposed to come up with landing speed, and damn it, I didn't collect it again. We should not see that speed up. You're on the ground. You don't need to worry about speeding up.
172, 4,
Unless
uniform echo.
you're taking off and you don't have enough speed or runway, or both. So where are we? I don't know if you're following this with Google Earth, but this is O-band. Yeah, EGEO. It's in the UK. That's all I know. We could do this. You want to see an overview of the UK? And that's where we are. So let me get you back to where we... Sorry about that. Okay, so let's zoom in then and say activate, and this is where we are.
Cleared IFR2 island as file. Maintain 4000 squawk 4700 172 2 Sierra Pop.
That's where we are. We're in the center over Great Britain. North. There's Ireland.
Runway 1
Where
taxi
is
file.
Scotland?
Charlie Bravo
Isn't it
1
at the top?
9. Hold short of runway
I believe
1
it is.
172 2 Sierra Pop.
We were just told to do something. Okay. So that's the deal. That's what we're looking at right now. This is British Isles, and we're gonna go.
Papa, fly heading
We're on the
0,
land,
1,
and that's
0,
why it's showing red.
1. You're cleared for takeoff.
Fly heading
Because
0,
one
1,
of the
0,
map
runway 1,
choices
172, 2, Sierra, Pop.
is in the setup, and does it want it? You want it to show terrain and topology. And it can also show the airways. They're exactly like our interstates and I-25 or I-75 and E25. And that's what that's all about. So anytime we want to go back to our map, if you're down in the menu, it just says hold home and you get to your map again. So that's what the GTN's all about. Each one of these, this is always back. Map, traffic, do we have any? I don't see anything. That's within 1 mile. This is within 24 miles. Don't see anything. Again, if we want to go directly back, you get that. Nearest airport it is. The nearest airport is EGEO, Oban. 224 feet high. It's got fuel and avgas and jet. And what frequencies? That's it. That is it. It's just info. We're in a little podunk airport. But if you had a big airport, it could give you the procedures into either taking off or landing. I mean, the actual SIDS and stars, the standard terminal arrival and for arrivals, and the standard departure procedures. It's got all that built in all the maps. So let's go back to home, hold down the key for map, and there she blows. And that's where we are. We don't need we need more of a, how about a 30-mile one? How's that? And COM frequencies, COM 1 and 2, and alternate and standby. Each COM frequency has its own standby. You set up a new frequency down here, and this is the current frequency in green, and when you're ready, you switch, because you're going to be constantly talking to different controllers. You're going to be talking to clearance to get permission to fly from point A to point B. They'll give you clearance and hand you over to ground, where you're going to have looked at the chart and know what ATIS says about the weather and which way the planes are landing and taking off. And you'll know what the arriving and departing runways are, because that's part of your chart work, and the weather and so on and so forth. Bottom line is, this shows it all, and it can either work as radio, where you're looking for a localizer, VLOC, and a localizer is the same thing as you got in your cars. We had them back in the 60s. There's little punch buttons that you punch up your favorite radio stations. Well, that's what these are. Across the country, there are radio stations, and they have a symbol. They are hexagons with a circle in the middle. And we could find one by going to direct and find this nearest waypoint, and that's EGEO. Okay, that's where we are. There's nothing in our flight plan, and the nearest airport is here. But we could find something that are bigger, like Glasgow itself. We're sort of 47 miles to the west-northwest, 47.9 miles. So we haven't gotten any commands yet, have we? Has he run out of things to say? I need to resize this guy. There we go. About there. And if we want to, we can always yank it out, right? Okay. Hey, what's going on down there? I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to turn it back on again. AI controls your aircraft.
172, 2, Sierra, Papa, cleared IFR2.
To Glasgow, that's where we're going. So watch. We're going to go down here for direct.
Cleared IFR2,
And we're
Glasgow,
going to go to
as
nearest
filed, maintain,
airport.
5,000,
And out of our
walk,
list,
4700,
we're going to go
172,
look for
2,
Glasgow
Sierra,
right in here, okay?
172, 2, Sierra, Papa, runway 1, taxi via 1.
Oh,
runway
there's
1,
Glasgow
taxi
City
via 1,
Heliport. Is
172,
Glasgow
2,
itself
Sierra,
there?
Papa.
Oh, that's funny. Where the hell is Glasgow? How did we miss that? Well, anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. Oh, there it is. No, that's the heliport. Oh, there's the EGPF. There's Glasgow. It's almost north. And that's where we're going. It's that way. Follow the magenta line. And we're not going to use VLOC. We're not going to use radios. We're going to go ahead and use, although we could. We could, come to think of it. If we change CDI from VLOC, we could go to GPS and do it that way. And that's the simplest. But remember I told you those radios all over the country? Each one of them has its own frequency, its own buttons on the dashboard, its own numbers. And you look at this big ass map of the United States, or where you were point A and point B. Your maps to include point A and point B, your departure and arrival, and the alternate. And you look across your sectionals, that's what they're called, maps for the air. And you look across the sectionals and you say, well, okay, I see here in Flatlet, Kentucky, yeah, at 36 degrees north and about 84 degrees west. And I put in this fake airport, but not this one, the one in Stinking Creek, Carnes Farm. That's 2,300 feet. This one, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's what we want. We can also go to it from here. And there's Glasgow. We only have a 1080p screen here. eGPF. And it happens to be an 8,000 foot runway. And it does have ILS. Let's go see. What frequencies does it have? ATIS, that's weather. Ground info, tower, approach. Radar, okay. 119.1 and 125.25 and 128.775. I'll have to look at the charts. We got 23 and 05 for ILS runways. And here's what how the runways are set up. 05 and 23. There's not much to it. Not much to it. But anyway, you can get in from this end or from this end with ILS, Instrument Landing Service. And we'll talk about that later. But that's just, I just wanted you to get a feel how powerful this little piece of kit is. A little GTN 750. And as I said, there's an actual simulator for free from Garmin, so you can practice on it. It's like 99.9999995% accurate and precise, both. And it's $17,000, and it's a GTN 750. And you can get that online, and you can practice your IFR work. You can do your flight planning here. You can set up your, once you've got it, you can check the weather. This one doesn't have the weather, but that's the only thing it doesn't have. And it's, you go back, you get to this screen right here. And then these are your choices. Traffic, terrain, charts. Charts, what are you talking about? Remember those maps I told you about? For instance, here's approaches. Well, there's no chart available. How about departures? No. So that's maybe not where we want to go, huh? Let's go to nearest again. We were looking at O-band at the top, right, or the closest. What if we went to, we do have ILS here. Oh, well, that's in Glasgow. That's where we were looking. And that's, remember, that's what Glasgow looks like. There are procedures, therefore, for ILS 05 and 23 and localizer. Well, and ILS is vertical stability. In other words, you're coming down a glide slope. It's a particular angle or steepness of descent. It's usually 3 degrees. At Long Island City, however, not Long Island, but London City Airport, where we took off from in the other video, it's so short that you need to come down at a 5-degree angle. I mean, you're screaming down the hill to land in that little strip in Long Island City. But anyway, LOC, L-O-C, that is one component of ILS. Complete ILS, in order to get you where you're going and the right approach, right up just above minimums, and you break through the clouds, and by God, you're aiming right at the 1,000-foot marker on your airstrip. It's just phenomenal. But ILS is made up of 2 components. Left and right, in other words, are you pointing at the right place? And up and down. Well, we just talked about side to side, and that's what LOC is. It's just side to side. It's, we'll tell you that you need, if you see the bar over to your left of where you are, then you're going to see, let me see here. You're going to see what are the, I'm messing up. I don't know. Oh, did I turn off X camera? No, I didn't. What happens if I disable it? Well, that's okay. So, right on this instrument here, right there, and right here, you're going to know you're up and down and side to side, because you're right in the center, right? You see this little mark right here, right there, and these are your wings, okay? And there is the horizon. When you fly air, if you fly in bad air, in other words, in instrument meteorological conditions, IFR. You have to be IFR certified. You have to be able to fly by your instruments. You have to believe in your instruments. That's all you get to see, right there. That's it. You don't get to look outside, because there isn't any outside. It's either black or it's white, and nothing in between. You have to be able to fly with what you see right there. Okay? Here are your nav radios right here. You've got nav 1 and nav 2, nav 1 and nav 2. And here it has the horizontal component by this bar in the center. Wherever that bar is, that's where you need to fly towards, because you are the wing in the center. Get the idea? So we're already in the center, but we're not tuned to anything. We're not tuned to any of these guys right here, because we're not going there right now. But I just want to let you know that this airport has ILS and localizer. Localizer is, are you pointing in the right place? You need to cross-check your gyro compass with your magnetic compass, and that's 150, or 150 degrees. That's 15, but you always add a 0. And yes, we're pointing, our DG, our digital gyro, is pointing at 15, so we're good to go there. Next thing we need to do is check our altitude, when we'll get that from ATIS, but that's neither here nor there. This is where you make use of ILS. Left and rightness based upon the center, and dots. And I think that's 1 degree, or I forgot what the precise distance each dot was. 500 feet maybe? I don't know. And then there's a vertical component of where are we, where is this horizontal bar in terms of its angle above the center in the y-axis, x and y-axis, or pitch. So if you got it tuned to the right place, and where did it say we were? Are we not at Glasgow or close to it? Let's go back. Nearest airport. Oh, it's Oban. Right. Okay. But what is Glasgow? EGP. What was it? Damn it. That's Edinburgh. EGP. That Edinburgh is 74 miles away. Where the hell's Glasgow? Edinburgh. Inverness. There's Glasgow City Heliport, but I don't see Glasgow. Oh, there it is, EGPF. 47 miles at about right about there. By the way, you want to center, if you know which way you're going, if you're going that way, and you can check to see by going to Glasgow. There's Glasgow's 2 runways. There they are. This way, and wait a second. There, didn't we just do that? 05. There's not 2 runways. Oh, there is. Or is that that could be a runway. That could be. These letters are markers where you need to turn or stop, and that they want you to get to. For instance, if you want to get on runway 05, well, you're going to have to take Highway G all the way down here. Where are we? Are we? No, we're not even there, are we? Let's make believe that we are right here. We're right here at the tower. Right about there. Let's make believe we're right there. So if we're right there, we'll put it in the center. How do we get to, which runway do you want to take? Whatever Ada said. Let's say Ada said the active runway, acting departure and approach runway is 23. And that's where we want to go. And so we're down here, right? Well, how do we get there? Let's go backtrack. Well, it looks like we can, is this called A? Oh, there's a crossbar right here that we can get across to the runway at B. But you're taking this road here, A, Alpha, all the way down, Alpha all the way down. Where did we say we were? Oh, weren't we at G? Alpha all the way to Gulf, and take Gulf down to just past L, between M and L, and that's where we decided we were going to go. And that's what ground will say. Oh, you want to get to runway 23? Get to runway 23 via Gulf, Alpha. Hold short, runway 23. You take Alpha all the way. Now you could take it to Bravo. You could go to Charlie. Those are places where you can enter and leave the runway. At Charlie, this crossroad here. Bravo, this crossroad here from the taxiway to this airstrip. And yes, you can take off from these places. Echo, Foxtrot, and Golf. All of them off of, well, where does Alpha stop? This looks like it's all Gulf, right? Gulf. So Alpha turns into Gulf. Alpha terminates right here. But you could take right here. Does that go all the way out to the strip? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. See, it doesn't go all the way to the strip. But Delta does from Gulf. And that's how you get around. It's a very simple map in the air, map in the ground. You can look at a map now, an aviation map, which is called a sectional, and you can now say, okay, I see. So we're gonna, if we go back to the map, we can see that we're not there, we're elsewhere. But if we zoom out, you get an idea of where we are. Well, unfortunately, it's not showing. It's showing it in red. If we are above sea level, we'd be able to see it better. But we're not. And I don't know why. Flight. AI controls your aircraft. Did I turn it off or on? I don't know. I can't see behind here. Damn. AI. Let's see. Data ref tool. View data refs. Controls, terrain pipelines. Rain number. Bias. Why did it pull this up? What? The last thing it's got in here in its memory is that is departing from Boston and going to JFK. Oh, okay, that's a pretty good ride. Couple hours, right? But I don't know what AI. It didn't bring up AI. So I don't know what to say about that. AI flies. I do not see a reference to AI in here. Do you? So, but this is how you find every single variable inside of X-Plane so that you can control shit. If you know what it is, if you know that that's the name of an object that you can get information from, put information into, and display, you can do a lot of things with this shit. There's like 3,000 or more. What they're called is data refs. They're references to data, which are really references to a memory address, and memory is like a map too. Most often thought of as rows and columns, like a how about a railway schedule, you know, with the rows and columns? Well, that's think of memory as being rows and columns, and if there's a particular intersection, if it's X and Y, and it's like 25, 63, 25 across and 63 up, depending where you call 0, top left most of the time. That means I should have taken a drink. It's time to take a drink, and I want to, damn it, I want to let AI control your aircraft.
172.
Okay,
Sierra,
there we go.
Papa, cleared IFR2, Edinburgh, as filed.
Where are we going?
7,000, squawk.
Oh man.
700.
Cleared IFR2 Edinburgh as filed. Maintain 7,000 squawk 4700
he's getting
172
clearance.
Sierra Papa.
Squawking is your transponder, and the transponder can be used
Runway
right
1,
here
taxi via 19172
to set
Sierra
to
Papa.
4700, and you notice that it already is set to 4700. But if you want to change it to 1267, there you go. Or you say, oops, better not. And go to cancel, and it should remember where it was. Let's see if it does. Yeah, 47. It's in standby right now, but you can go ahead and turn it on, and that'll send a signal down to the ground and show where you are. So that's what this transponder is. Notice that this is a tool of all things: communication, navigation radios, 2 each, and GPS built in, and a pretty damn terrific graphical screen here, which can be moved around or pointed to and say, yeah, let's go directly here. Let's go directly right there. Let me see, where is the best place? Let's go to this tip right here. How's that? We'll move, whoop. Right there, create a waypoint. Create and go direct. Short name is North 59 West 45. You can change the name, and we'll now activate it, and bam, that's where we're going. Now that's GPS. There is no radio over here. GPS uses satellites in the sky, and many of them. You have to have 5 of them to be as sure of what you're tuning into. But the bottom line is that there are no radios on the ground to point your way from point A to point B, and it's basically point to point. In other words, as the crow flies. Whereas in order to get from, let's say, Newark Airport to Denton, Texas, which my cousin flew, and he was coming from Newark. He flew to Texas for business, And he was in Dallas, and I was in Denton going to school. And he flew up to Denton Airport, and he didn't know the way, and he didn't carry a chart with him, and he should have. But he simply called up ATC and asked for vectors to Denton. And ATC said, sure. Squawk 4133. So he says, oh, okay, squawking 4133. Bam, 4133. November 146, Charlie Hotel, your radar contact at 20 feet off the deck. We haven't gone anywhere. Why? Why are we not going anywhere? Well, I'm going to control it, by God. And unfortunately, I can't get my track IR to work. That was my head tracker. And
Cleared
it's plugged in
IFR2
right
Perth
now.
SCON as filed. Maintain
I wonder
5000 squawk
if I can get it to
4700 172 2 Sierra Pop.
I see the lights, but I do not see. Oh, that's because it fell
Runway
down.
1 taxi via
I
19
see.
172 2
Okay.
Sierra Pop.
Ah, you son of a gun. Fell down again. You gotta attach this infrared camera to the top of your monitor, and you need it's got little legs that keep it from falling, but I can't get it to stay in place, and so it wants to fall all the time. Is that okay? Let's see. All right, let's center it. There we go. And well, if she's not going to take over, let's see where we are. Yeah, you can use the built-in cameras and choose where you want them. You could look at a place and hit Control 1, and bam, that'll be picture 1, camera 1. You can look at your autopilot and hit Control 2, and that'll be your second view at your autopilot, and so on and so forth. Okay. And these are the outside views, but in the setup, if you look at X camera, you can see what things are. You've got 4 of 8 categories we're looking at right now. So here's category 3, external, and in category 3 you have 8 different cameras. So you got the camera view at the nose, left wing, left flaps, left stabilizer, tail. In other words, where is the camera? At the tail. Right stabilizer, right flaps, right wing. And there's 8 of 8. We come back to camera 1. You are about 10 feet away from the front of the aircraft. And so you can create your own cameras, and then you can save it, and you can go to the community files to see what's available for the Cessna 172 SP, because that's what we're flying. Notice it says C-172 there, it knew. by its ICAO number. All right, well, what do we got here? This is called Chaz Test. It's got 8 categories and 109 cameras. Well, that sounds good to me. So I'm checking for updates. And whoa. Oh no, did I crash? I did. Oh my God, I crashed X-Plane. Oh my God. Well, this new Vulcan, they totally rewrote the
ABC, it's easy as
graphics,
1, 2, 3.
what they call
Loading
texture,
X-Plane.
not texturing, it's rendering. You are rendering a scene on the screen. And how quickly you render it was going to basically makes you either believe what you're doing or not. So, let's see this new flight here. Cessna Skyhawk going to Glasgow, EGPF. That is not the helipad. Anything with a K is American. E is England, I guess. We want to go to Glasgow. Whoa. No airport found. Yeah, it says heliport, but it's not. That's a full strip. 5 and 23. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's good. So now it has to load, it has to render everything that's in our path. Oh man. Oh man. I'm gonna say wait. Probably. But you know what? That's probably. So I'm gonna call it a day, and I've had fun trying to fix this thing, trying to figure out where I'm messing up. And adios.